The first one is that our diploma students are required to complete a 3,000 to 4,000 word research paper. It is started during their junior year, usually during the month of February, and it's completed by December or January of their senior year. So they have just under about 10 or 11 months to complete this paper. And a 3,000 to 4,000 word research paper is, roughly, 14, 16 pages, something of that nature. The student selects a topic and works with the faculty advisor. They are allowed to select a subject area of their choosing, so something that is interesting to them, whether that be Group 1 English or mathematics or biology or chemistry or philosophy or religious studies, psychology. There are lots of areas that students can choose to do research in, and under the guidance of a teacher on campus, they actually will complete that process and reflect on that process throughout that year. We also work in conjunction with the library facilities at UC Riverside, and our librarian on North Campus, Mrs. Holden, will also work with the students to help them understand the process and the setup, as well as how to engage in that research. So that's one additional component to the IB diploma. The second one in that inner circle is what we call the CAS hours, or creativity, activity, and service hours. Students are required to do or engage in extracurricular activities throughout their last 2 years of school, and they will set up a plan during 11th grade. They will talk to me about their plans and their progress throughout the time during 11th and 12th grade, and those hours and the reflections and their goals that they have met are due in about April of their senior year. So this is like I said, the extracurricular component, but it also requires students to sort of engage in things that are not just within their comfort zone. So for our students who might be athletes, activity is very simple for them because they're used to engaging in active endeavors. It's really meant to get them away from their desk and physically minded. So for our athletes, they may have to think a little bit more about how they can engage in creative endeavors. For our students who are naturally creative, maybe our theater arts students who perform easily, they may have to think more carefully about how they might engage in active or service endeavors, and so on. Service is what it sounds like. It is community service. IB wants the students to be involved in their communities, at the school, beyond the school, or even around the world. So the service opportunities that we allow students to participate are quite varied, and they can be things that the student does off campus, but we also give plenty of opportunities on campus so that they can utilize those if they're uncomfortable going out into the community on their own. The final piece of the diploma program is the Theory of Knowledge, or TOK course, and this is a philosophy-based course. It does include units on logic and ethics. It explores the nature of knowledge across disciplines. It encourages students to look at things from other cultural perspectives. It encourages them to consider how it is that we know what we know. Like, what is it that mathematicians think about in terms of knowledge? What is it that historians think about in terms of knowledge? How do those subjects connect to each other? How are they similar? How are they different? And that kind of thing. So this course is taken during the second semester of the junior year and the first semester of the senior year. And the students do engage in some presentations within that course, as well as some essay writing within that course that become a part of their overall IB diploma exam components or scores. So those pieces, those 3 additional pieces, over and above the 6 academic course areas, together make up the IB diploma. Okay. Now, we know that students are currently sitting in eighth grade, and so their thought processes as far as how they want to engage within their high school careers, who knows at this moment. So they might have something in mind, but they may not know exactly what they want to do. We don't ask students to come into high school knowing whether they want to do the IB diploma or the second pathway, which is the IB courses or IB certificate pathway. And we will give students the opportunity to make that decision. They don't have to decide that until the middle of 10th grade. I will meet with all IB 10th graders typically in December or January in order to give them a reminder about their options for participation within the diploma program during 11th and 12th grade. And then they'll make a decision prior to signing up for courses for 11th grade. The option will still exist for kids to come in and talk to me individually. And parents, you should also know that you are always welcome to make an appointment with me during the 10th grade, well, anytime really, but during the 10th grade year is oftentimes a good time in preparation for making sure that your student has all the information that they need to make a decision that works best for them for moving into the 11th and 12th grade. So the IB course option, which our students often refer to as certificate or certificates, is a good option for students who might not feel they are quite prepared to do all 6 subject areas. They may want to focus on some other things. They might be heavily involved in activities or sports or things that take up a lot of their time, and they're worried about the time management of completing all of those coursework plus the additional items for the diploma. They might be students who have a need to have a job during high school that takes up a considerable amount of time, or they might just be students who have decided that they want to focus on just 1 or 2 areas within the IB diploma program in order to give themselves more time to do something else. The universities will see the IB diploma as the most rigorous course option that a high school student can do, and that is over and above the advanced placement opportunities that students might have at a different school or even on our campus. But the reality is that the IB diploma will be considered the most rigorous thing they can do. The IB certificate option would be similar to a student taking an AP course in 1 or more areas. So those kind of are seen as similar when you look at it from a university perspective. Okay, so with the IB courses, students take and pick and choose 1 or more areas that they would like to take IB coursework in, and then they can do the exams associated with that particular course when they are done. So for example, I have students who are not wanting to do the diploma, but they want to keep a rigorous schedule, so they might be taking 4 IB certificates. When they get to 5 or 6, they might as well do the diploma because they're doing most of the curricular requirements, so they might as well just go ahead and do the diploma. So typically an IB certificate or course student has between 1 and 4 IB courses that they might be testing in. So courses are offered in specific subjects, and really they're offered in all of the areas that we have IB coursework in. So that includes English, our 2 second languages, Spanish and Chinese, world history, economics, vocal music, instrumental music, theater arts, design technology, biology, physics, and mathematics. All 3 levels will offer a course certificate. It is important to note that universities, typically when a student is a course candidate, universities are going to grant credits for those examinations within IB that are taken at higher level. Most of the time, those standard level courses or certificates, they're not going to grant units for those unless they're a part of the IB diploma. And those standard level courses would be in Chinese, in Spanish, in economics, in design technology, and in the first two areas of math. So all of the other courses have a higher level option. And the student, in addition to that, if a student is a native speaker within Spanish, they can take the higher level exam within Spanish language. Okay.